everybody. Happy day. It's Friday, and I hope that you guys are doing well. Now, initially, this was going to be what do you want to call it? A audio only version of the video, but I decided to come on camera and, to go ahead and just kind of do this today or do this video for you guys today. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. And so, what I wanted to talk about today was, five of the book branding mistakes that can definitely, literally kill your book sales, and some things that you may be or may not be. Um, or just some mistakes that you may be making if you're trying to build out your book brand or sell your books in a product line, which is what I highly recommend. So before we get started, I would love for you guys to please like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, I am Kim George from Your Chic Geek, and let's go ahead and dive in. Actually, before we dive in, for those of you who are interested and maybe you're looking for some resources that you can use to get started with publishing simple books, things like the journals, planners, activity books, and all of that, you can definitely click some of the links below. There are some resources there for you. One is a swipe file, and then another is a free masterclass. Now, if you want some additional resources that can help you in your publishing journey, from my shop and all of that, all of the links are there. There's a link to my website where I have some resources there as well that you can use, and so you can just head over to check those out when you get an opportunity. But guys, I wanted to pop in today again to just talk really quickly about five book branding mistakes that that will definitely hinder your sales. And so let's go ahead and let's dive off into this quick video. So I'm going to be using basically a little slide deck here today. Tried to get a little fancy for y'all. Okay, so mistake number one that you want to look out for, and here's the thing, before I even dive off into this, I know that one of the things that, if you're a new publisher especially, what you're going to be doing is basically just publishing your books, right? You're just going to be thinking about, I want to get as many books out here as possible. And, I think that, of course, getting familiar with the publishing process is important. But, I can tell you guys that you don't have to publish like 10,000 books or 5,000 books and all of that to make good money. If you are strategic about what you're doing and you're publishing books, in the mindset of building out a brand, that is a better way to go for the long term, and something that I've learned, and this is what I definitely try to teach over here on this channel. And so again, these are some of the things to watch out for. So again, number one is making one-off books with no strategy. Again, this is something I've talked about in great length on this channel, and as I just mentioned, most publishers, of course, when you're starting out, you're trying to get a feel for things, and you're trying to figure out the publishing process. So you're probably going to start publishing just kind of random books here and there. I'm here to tell you that once you get further on in the publishing process, and this is something that I actually took my coaching students through in my accelerator program, you're going to get burned out from it, because each new book that you publish is a new project that you have to start. So a new book, if you're starting something like a log book for one niche, you're going to create that book, create the interior, then you're going to move on to something else. You have to create a whole new cover, create a new interior. So it just really starts to burn you out. So, like I said here, if you get the hang of things, eventually you do want to start building a brand. So my recommendation is, instead of just kind of creating all of these random books all over the place and just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, you want to basically create a product line, okay? And your product line, as you can see here on the screen, is going to be a book line that you're going to have that is going to be consistent in the way that it looks. It's going to be assigned to one specific pen name that you're going to use repeatedly for every book that you publish under that name. The visuals are going to be consistent. The way that the book looks for the cover is going to be consistent, and it's going to have an interior that is going to complement the kind of book that you are publishing, okay? So that is definitely a mistake to watch out for, rather, is just making a one-off book here and there, throwing spaghetti at the wall, and then starting all over with another book and another book and another book. Trust me, it's going to burn you out. I've been there. So mistake number two is no brand identity. This is really important. This is a mistake that I see all the time, specifically when I'm coaching and things like that. And I always try to, point this out and reel people in as you're getting into creating your books. So no brand identity just means that all of your books, the designs look very inconsistent, like they're all coming from its own different publisher. Every cover design, maybe it's going to have different fonts, it's going to have a different aesthetic and look. The layout is going to look different. And so it looks like it's scattered. And then as I put here, the book designs look really scattered and all over the place again. So the fix for this and the recommendation for this is to, again, use consistent fonts, use consistent colors and all of that where you can on logo designs to really just try to hone in and make a style to your book that looks like it's coming from the same pen name, and using that style each time that you create a new book for their product line. So here's kind of an example here that I generated for you guys so you can kind of get an understanding of what I mean. You can see here that over to the right or to the left, you kind of have the storybook for kids here. This is that cute little design right here. And then over to the right, you have a product line where the fonts look the same. You kind of have an image here at the top, images at the bottom, but the font in the middle. So the same thing, but a different image, but an image here at the top, the fonts in the middle, the kind of little icons at the bottom, and then the same thing. Image here, fonts here, and then the kind of, little images at the bottom. So this is the difference between just, again, one-off book, create the book, go to another one, and go to another one, and go to another one, versus a product line where you can actually, start with one design and use it as a template and a basis for going forward for the remaining designs that you're going to be creating. All right, so mistake number 3 is your interior doesn't match your vibe or target audience. Now, as a publisher, I would be the first to admit that I am guilty of this. This is something that I have, ran into sometimes when I am creating new books. So as an example here, maybe you're creating some senior books that have childish designs. That's not going to work. And I've actually seen people do this. That's something you don't want to do because you will get called out for it, okay? And then maybe you're creating as you can see here, a teen girls book with an interior that looks like it's something more for an adult. It's just not going to fly. And the parents of the people or whoever it is, the customers that purchase these books will call you out. So you definitely want to have your interior match the vibe and the theme of the person that you're targeting. So over here to the right, this is an interior that I've showed before, but this is a baby elephant's water splash interior. Okay, this is a maze book for kids ages 4 through 8. This is on theme with that audience. You can see that the elements here and the images here are targeted for kids ages 4 through 8. If I were to put this and try to sell this to an adult, I'm going to get some low stars. They're going to be like, this is for children. This is not for adults. So everything needs to be on theme, with the audience and the person that you are designing your books for. So that's something else that you want to look out for. All right, guys. So mistake number 4 is your title's naming structure doesn't match. This is something that I used to really struggle with as well. But basically what this looks like is that every title is completely different from the next. All of the titles look like they're just, totally out of sync. There's inconsistent keywords in your title, and the titles are not on theme. Now, somebody who does a great job at this is going to be Coco Wayo. I know they're a huge publisher, independent publisher, but they really do a great job with their titles and also with the naming conventions and the naming structures of their books. So here's an example here of the cute and comfy coloring book that they have, but this one is for the little corner. And then there's a cute and comfy coloring book for cozy friends. So you see how they did that? Both of these are within the cute and comfy coloring book kind of brand and series that they have here. And so once you find a naming structure that you can apply to your books, it's going to make it easier for you to name the next book and the next book and the next book, okay? Because there's some different things that you can do. You can use a different theme, you can use a different variation of the book, and so on and so forth, okay? So the recommendation here is to use a repeatable naming structure for your books to make it easier to name the subsequent books that you're going to be adding to your product line. So again, Coco Wayo does a really good job at this, and that is a pretty good example there, all right? All right, so number 5 is no cross-promoting of your other books. Guys, you got to use every opportunity that you can to promote all of the books that you have in a specific product line that you have on Amazon. So, again, most people just kind of upload their books. That's pretty much it. And they forget to mention that they have other books available. This is a great opportunity for you to use your books to cross promote them. So some things that you can do here is, I have an example right here, and I've seen people actually do this on Amazon, but some other things that you can do to cross promote your books are to, number one is add a QR code into your book with a link to all of the other books that you have on Amazon. All right. You can also do a add a here's more books from this series, or check out other books from this series page within your books as well, so that people can know that you do have other books available within the product line that you have on Amazon. And then also you can cross promote all of your other books using A+ content. Okay. So those are some of the things that I am currently doing and that I've seen some of the top sellers do. And those are some things that you can definitely use to take advantage and cross promote all of your books whenever you get the opportunity to let people know that, hey, I don't just have this one book available, I have other books just like this available as well. All right. So those are just some of the 5 mistakes that could be potentially killing your brand sales, especially if you're trying to build a product line on KDP, that I wanted to share with you guys today. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope that you guys are well. I hope that Q4 is going well for you. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Okay. Cheers and see you next time. Bye.